Hello, I'm Rania. It's my pleasure to attend the annual Mongolian Study Conference today and present my research in our last panel. My research interest is about the multi-ethnic interaction of Mongols, Chinese, and Russian in Qing period Mongolia in terms of economy, politics, and culture. Just yesterday, I was conferred an MA degree from the University of Pennsylvania's East Asian Language and Civilization Department. So right here, I'm going to share with you the recent progress I made in my MA thesis, which was started from the interest about the urban forms of Qing period Mongolian cities, but finally, the thesis was finished as a discussion about how multilingual place names of trading districts in Qing Mongolia reflected and delineated institutional, economic, and social context. I'm welcoming to your feedback and suggestion, and since my research is just started, and I still have the chance of furthering it during my PhD period in Berkeley, your ideas about arguments or literature or anything will be of very great help. So I'm going to start my presentation by a paragraph from Ian Posniev's 1892 travelogue, Mongolia and Mongols, and two translations of it. The lines begin paragraphs of description about a separate trading district in the eastern direction of Mongolia, which was composed of a square-shaped fenced area and nearby settlements, as can be seen in the corner of the Drukder's 1912-13 painting. Posniev called the district as Mamacheng in Russian. Indiana University's edition and Inner Mongolian People's Press edition interprets the term as Chinese language Mamacheng, which literally means trade city or trade town in Chinese, the same as Posniev explained in the paragraph. According to Posniev, there were 5 Mamacheng in Mongolia and its border, including Hulian, Chata, Uliastan, Hom, and Zhangjiakou, as shown in the map. Since Mongolia and the Mongols is full of informative details and wide-range investigation, it has been a must-read book for generations of scholars who have an interest in late Qing period Mongolia. As a result, Posniev's understandings of Mamacheng and its interpretation, Mamacheng, made by translators, has been internalized by today's scholar, as shown on the slide, who wrote in Mongolian, Chinese, Japanese, or English to study Mongolian cities in the Qing Empire. It's common to see that researchers suggest certain urban settlements inhabited by groups of traveling Chinese merchants in Qing Mongolia to be trading town, such as Mamacheng or Mamachot in Mongolian language or Mamacheng in Chinese language. English, Chinese, and Japanese language scholarship often take the Chinese language Mamacheng as the orthographic name of these trading districts, as shown in the works of Wu Zhenbo, Huang Muping, Satomo Yuki, Wulan Qinwen Tautman, and Lan Huimi. Meanwhile, Mongolian language scholarship, such as the work of Zundui or Yumbilek, tend to directly use Mamacheng or Mamachot in writing, especially shown in research that deal with Qing Mongolian cities in one region, such as the work of Huang Muping, Lan Huimi, and Yumbilek. Researchers categorize historical records of different trading districts as the trading town of somewhere, such as the Mamacheng of Hulian, the Mamacheng of Uliastan, and so on. The categorization follows the conceptual framework set up by Posniev, but doesn't necessarily correspond with the actual geographic epistemology of multilingual historical actors. Posniev is indeed a great producer of knowledge. Nonetheless, we should not take his conceptual framework for granted and detach the multilingual trading town from concrete contexts, such as when, where, in which language, and in what circumstance the term was used. My talk today will situate the usage of Mongolian and Chinese language trading town, as well as the transcriptions of them in the 18th to early 20th century multilingual context at the 5 places that Hosnev suggests to have mentioned. I will show that the way of coining, reproducing, and categorizing place names actually embodies a whole set of institutional, social, economic, and material contexts in different social spheres. After realizing all the facets of multilingual trading town into Mongolia, we might be more cautious about how to refer to these trading districts in today's research. So to briefly introduce, the trading districts of Chinese merchants in Khalkha, Mongolia came into being after the assembly of Khalkha princes as governor since in 1691, and their sedentarizing process accompanied the regularization of the permit system that controlled Chinese merchants' entry to Khalkha, Mongolia during the 1720s to 1790s, and Sino-Russian Khalkha border trade during the 1720s to 1760s. The social context of their establishment varied, so as their urban forms, as I will discuss in detail later. Taking the place names as an entry point, I want to firstly point out that although the Chinese language, Manchu, seems to be the origin of derivations in Mongolian and Russian, the term was not formal or official for historical agents who spoke or wrote in Chinese, and its geographic area was limited to Khalkha and Hulian. As you can see in the table, I sort out the 18th to early 20th century in-use place names of urban components as far as I can find in primary sources, which include Qing official archives, private writing, and maps. To be honest, I didn't have the chance to visit archives and read Mongolian language Qing archives during my short research period. And the table needs more Mongolian language archives that I didn't find in related scholarship. Even if cases of place name listed here are limited compared to the whole body of corpus, they have indicated a widespread Chinese language naming convention that is different from Manchu. Repeated and isomorphic in-use place name in Chinese revolve around the same set of concepts, including in, which means encampments, chen, which means circle or enclosed area, and zha, which means fence, and shi, which means markets. Modifier of directional and its internal or external relations were added before or after these core concepts, such as the dan zha wai, south fence, outside, which can be translated as outside southern fence. This lexicon and conceptual patterns might have equivalents in contemporary Mongolian place names, such as the bifurcated hulian, which can be translated as encampment or circle, and relational modifiers such as the ulum and gada. Nonetheless, in addition to the Mammathot versus Manchu, in the primary sources that are available to me, the direct translation relationship between Mongolian and Chinese on the same traces is rare to find. For example, the trading district in the western direction of Ikhude, right here, was called Balun Damlog and Balun Damlochen by two Mongolian maps, which means Western Lord and Western Peddler, while in Chinese they were called Sipulun, which means Western Hulian. Anyway, in the cases as far as known, only the square fence trading district of Khalkha and Hulian was commonly rather than officially called as Manchu in Chinese, as shown on the map. This kind of report was written by two 19th to early 20th century Chinese language writers, as I put here and translated into English. It's worth noting that the square-shaped enclosed trading district in Khalkha, Hulian, and Zhangjiakou share the name of Shichuan, which means enclosed markets, and the onward trading districts in Uliastai and Hall share the name of Jieshi, which can be translated as street markets. The coinage of trading districts' official place name is not only about language usage of urban forms, but also about two modes of economic management that demonstrates the institutional and economic differences inside Tibetan Mongolia, which were shaped no later than the 1760s, the aftermath of Qing Mongolia War. The first one, enclosed markets, as shown in the right column, is a spatial strategy that manages and controls the household and taxation related to the official Sino-Russian trade that passed through capital Zhangjiakou. The area inside and outside these enclosed markets, these square fence, are economically different. According to Lapamy's research, the enclosed markets of capital and Hulian was supposed to only allow merchants with permits to enter. Before the new policy in the 20th century, transporting commodities between these enclosed markets of capital and Hulian was tax-free and in bulk. Only commodities that enter the enclosed markets of Zhangjiakou needs to pay for tax. If merchants at Hulian's enclosed market wanted to move their commodity out to retail them in nearby areas, they should pay corresponding fees as well. The second one, Jieshi street markets, as shown in the left column, was used to turn merchant settlements close to the station defense garrison of Uliastai and Hall. As shown in the map, this square-shaped city in Chinese meaning were the station defensive garrison of this one is of Uliastai and this one is of Hall. And they were both established before 1764. Traders and goods in street markets, the walled area that's nearby the enclosed defensive city, was supposed to help traders and goods that move from and to nearbai Bandar and Mongolian cities under the supervision of local officials. Nonetheless, these street markets didn't have physical gates or walls to perform the function of supervision. Meanwhile, different from student districts in other places, these street markets were regarded as local government's property and imposed rents on sojourning merchants at the beginning of their establishments. Therefore, the Chinese language Mandarin, as it's known to scholars today, was hardly popular in area outside the official Sino-Russian trade routes. Meanwhile, I want to highlight that on the same official Sino-Russian trade routes, the Mongolian language derivation of Mandarin, Namech or Namchen, and Namech or Namchen were prevalently used in multi-ethnic everyday communication between Mongols, Chinese, and Russian, and observed by Western outsiders. The point can be proved by three 18th to 19th century Chakra Sino-Russian Pidgin dictionaries, which illustrates the daily commerce between Chinese and Russian merchants. For the entry 圈子, which means enclosed area, all three dictionaries translated into Russian as Namets, if pronounced in Shanxi province dialect. Hokwa and Takata Tokyo reconstruct the term's Russian pronunciation as Namechi. Meanwhile, according to Hokwa and Takata, at the beginning stage of the Kyakhta border trade, Russian had called their opposite trading town as Kyakhta Chinese town, which means Namechen. Both Namechi and Namechen are the transcriptions of Mongolian word Namech or Namechen as shown in this table. Because most of the three dictionaries mention Hulian, Kyakhta, and Zhangjiakou, the places that were on the official Sino-Russian trade and had chen, which means enclosed area, the Chinese equivalent of Namachi in the dictionaries. It's probable that Namachi in Russian and Mongolian could be used to refer to the enclosed markets as Hulie and Zhangjiakou as well, although Russian merchants were supposed to be only able to visit this place until the 1860s. Furthermore, before Postnev, Western travelogues written by people outside of the Qing Empire also used various transcriptions of IMSC to refer to the square-fenced enclosed markets as Kiaka and Hulie, as shown in the slides. The pattern reinforced the point that the Mongolian language appellation of the enclosed markets played a crucial role in helping travelers to understand settlements of Chinese merchants. It's worth noting that most travelers refer to the enclosed market as Kiaka as the only place of Namachen, probably due to travel limits and stereotypes. By realizing the fact that Mongolian language Namachen and Namachen was frequently used to describe the fenced market as Kiaka and Hulie by people outside the empire, we will find that first, as far as we know, Postnev might be the first Western traveler who expanded the usage of Namachen into a geographical area wider than official Sino-Russian trade routes and into urban forms more than the square fenced enclosed markets. Second, Namachen, the Russian term itself, is also an innovation by Postnev, retaining the second monophthongized syllable ma of the Mongolian language-derived Namachen. Postnev adopted cheng as the term's third syllable, which is pronounced more similar to Chinese language cheng, which means city or town. As a result, Namachen is an amalgamation of Mongolian language Namachen and Chinese language Mamaicheng. Its pronunciation has some commonality with the trading town in both languages, while it's not the same with any of them. Nonetheless, the half Chinese, half Mongolian language Mamaicheng was turned into the plain Chinese language Mamaicheng under the lens of translations. In the past decades, two translations of Mongolia and the Mongols, including the English edition in 1971 and the Chinese edition in 1989, respectively replaced the Mamaicheng with Mamaicheng, as I have introduced at the beginning of my talk. Without any related annotations, their translator might find nothing special in their translating process that corrects the name of Chinese settlements to a valid Chinese language term. In some sense, these translations fully realized that Postnev wanted to express, because Postnev wrote, I will try to imitate the pronunciation of Russian, but actually I don't know Russian. I call it Mamaicheng, which means Chinese Mamaicheng. The phrase Postnev used is to try to reinforce the Chineseness of the term and the place. In today's talk, I majorly discuss the historical usage of trading districts' place names in Mongolian, Chinese, and Russian language during the 18th to early 20th century. As I just talked, Chinese language inhabitants and officials of these trading districts portrayed the economic and urban differences of this place through enclosed markets and street markets. Meanwhile, Mongolian language Namachen and Mamaicheng was adopted by Sino-Russian traders and Western travelers. Especially, Postnev adjusts the term to Mamaicheng to categorize all different trading districts as a genre from an external perspective. As the English and Chinese translator of Postnev interprets the Mamaicheng into Chinese language Mamaicheng without hesitation, Wang Mengping and Lai Huimin take Chinese language Mamaicheng as the orthographic name of trading district beyond Kiaka and Hulie. It's acceptable to use the Chinese language Mamaicheng as an ahistorical and technical term if researchers want to reinforce the shared Chinese presence in Qing Mongolia that might be alien to local Mongols. However, after knowing the long story of multilingual trading towns, we might be more cautious about the orthographic names, undoubted generalized Chineseness. Because first, as I have shown in the case of fancy markets and street markets, the economic regime within Qing Mongolia were diverse and acknowledged by their inhabitants through their in-use historical place names. Second, the Mongolian language Namachan, Nanahot, and of course the Balum Damnok and Balum Damnokchen, as I mentioned, are valuable in demonstrating contemporary Mongols' perspective and serving as an entry point to the Mongolian speaking and writing social sphere. How and when did urban Mongols, including Mongolian trader, as well as camel puller, as Pozniev and M. Sandstorch had discussed, come into being in Counter Mongolia during the 18th to early 20th century? Where to locate the participation of Mongols when writing the social history of commerce and capitalism, as G. Tibetan-Buddhist and M. Sandstorch had attempts? How did the division of language and sociality misalign with the division of Qing-Russian border? As we know, the existence of Boreas and Boreas that's moved between these two empires. Because I'm still in the process of exploring the topic, you might have noticed that I haven't talked about how Mongols themselves call this trading district in places outside Hulian, and in what geographic range and time period they use the term Namachan and Namachan, which might be very helpful for answering all above questions. Tibetan-Buddhist puts up an interesting idea that not only Chinese, but also Russian trading districts were referred to as Namachan and Namachot, but he doesn't specify the source, period, and geographic range of the arguments. I'm looking forward to your suggestions and finding more interesting material in the future. Thank you.
Questions? So this downloads and downloads, that was, that's actually, it's, okay, its meaning is the similar meaning than the Buddhist, right? But there's this, the real management cities are different.
Yeah, in Tule, we know that, I can show the map of Tule. This area, this specific area that's at the west of the Ikule was called Anonamshan. And they call the other place, the other trading districts, Nanahot. So I guess it's because there were so many different Chinese merchants and working with different kind of economy. And yeah, so there are different names for them.
But they use this
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think it's interesting because the place name actually show different perspectives of different people. That's why these names in the same place has totally different name and meaning in different language.
Something like that.
My mention was the license is if you might understand. My mention is the business personal business.
Yeah.
So there's a managing, it's nothing to do with manage. It's a city, it's nothing to do not different. Because if this managing is because from Chinese, this is a Qing concept, this is the law. But from the Mongolian perspective, this is managing is a group of people they do business. It's managed. This is what I think this, I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly the question I want to go more because in today the plural form of Mongolian is going to be Qi. So
one kind of yes, one kind of people is historically in my homeland used to have the people using the like and the transfer were merged around we are knowing, right? So they, in order to access the knowledge. But what she means, the group of people doing this analysis is what we see. I think this managing is the, from the Mongolian perspective, they are managing the group of people. But it's nothing. But from Chinese perspective, this management is handed.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for your opinion. Would you mind share with us where is your hometown?
I'm just saying again, I don't have any evidence. I'm not an expert on this.
But I'm just curious about your very no experience about how people in was placed use what kind of terms.
So I'm trying to think that the Qing is basically the subjects for my holding is the production, like Qing.
Yes, it's yeah.
So this is someone who is first point.
Yeah. I do look at a lot of dictionary of the item of Mamachan, and I find that sometimes people turn to, because they cannot use single explanation, so they, for example, in Mongolian English dictionary, they translate both as merchant and as trading town, because I feel it's because sometimes
Linguistically is both possible. If we got the word mama, this is a borrowed word from Chinese, if we have already had mama, then it's very logical that we add Qing as a profession. So mama Qing is, that's just logical. Like one who like trade, one who do trade. That's how the Mongolian word. But in case the other one is also both ma Qing, and then it sounds for Mongolian people it's like Qing. So they doing trades there, and then so of course it's managing it. So it's other way is also possible. So it's not to this maybe it's the earliest possible occurrence of the word Nama as a like Nama in Mongolian language is something. So since the word Nama is also in Mongolian, then Nama plus Qing. Like in other there's no such thing. Then managing is misconstructed. Construction is different way, and it is Nama.
I totally understand. And I actually have a question for you. So, because I try to, I realize that maybe there are differences from singular noun and plural noun in Mongolia. So if I mean plural merchants, it's possible to call Mamachin.
Yes.
So do you think Mamachin can show plural form of merchants? Or it can only show single form of
I think if
merchants?
it's talking about one city, I would call it in plural.
So it makes sense if you want to for a city in a single form of merchants.
The two things that's in here two words. First one is the download thing is exact download because it's the download of the Mongolian word. There's no discusses. That's the download plus Qing. That's exactly Qing. Qing is the professional Qing. But that's the managing is interesting. And also for plural is difficult. It's the Mongolian plural is very different than English or Indo-European language plurals. So it's in the managing as a whole city. That's managing, and also to like book. Nom is now people misunderstand. Nom is singular, just one nom. But nomad is like all other books. Books is nomad. No, the Mongolian plural doesn't work that way. The nom is not the plural. Nom is the whole idea of all the world books are just nom. So nomad means a few books. Nomad means just 5 books. So actually nom is much more than nomad. It's not. So it's all the, that's why we said nomisan. It's not nomisan. No one else said nomisan. It's just one book. It's not about plural distinguishes.
Thank you.
But the Chinese character buy, the single word that the verb buy and buy, the buy and sell the verb.
But in Mongolian, my name is like a noun.
In Chinese, it's also
Yeah,
made
and the Qing after that noun, it becomes another noun. But the person who sell or who buy things.
Yeah, actually, I also, although my native language is Chinese, but because Chinese is also a very blurry language, and I do confused about how to translate my matchon in Chinese because my man in Chinese is also a noun. It can be understood as a noun or understand as a two word. Yeah.
Well, I don't know the Russian language, but it looks like the Russian language is spoken language, not the language itself. I don't know anybody know that.
The first thing is like a chain.
Yeah, there's.
So that's in states actually. It looks like this managed to not managed. From Mongolian perspective, this is what from China. Yeah, well, it could be translated. Plus, when they hear the man-made Qing, they will translate man-made Qing. Yeah, this a lot of things like that. There's in the neighboring cities in Mongolia and Great Walls inside and outside. There's some cities. Yes, Mongolian the name and this Chinese name are there's totally different names because they have a different pronunciations and different names. There's for example, the translating involved. It's what they have put in a Chinese word, or 6 times. Very doom ball. There's a totally different. So that's something.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you.
I do want to ask a question about Russian to you later. Thank you.